Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Resilience Talk Network. This is your morning Kickstart, and we are so glad you joined us. My name is Jay Walther.
And I'm Brad Neufeld.
And you should be getting to know who we are by now, but maybe this is your first show, your first video. And anyway, we'd like to let you know who we are.
Matter of fact, Jay, let's make a decision right now. I think our audience is such that we can just be on a first name basis from here on out.
Okay.
So it's Jay and Brad. There we go.
I'm Jay, and this is Brad. so I'm going to give you your inspirational quote for today. Brad's going to give you a fantastic tip. We've been talking about a lot of great things this last week. And then I'll follow up with a fun fact for today. So anyway, today's inspirational quote is from Nelson Mandela. And this one, I think, plays perfectly off of what we talked about yesterday about overcoming that procrastination.
Yeah.
And he says, I never lose. Either I win or I learn. So, that
there you go.
Is a wonderful attitude is, you're going to do something. You decide I'm going to take some action. And we talked about, well, what if I fail?
All right.
Well, you didn't fail. You learned something.
Yeah. So, truth is truth, Jay. That's
absolutely. And
I mean, it seems like we hear this in so many different ways, but truth is truth.
Absolutely. So you either win, you're either right and you learn something, or you learn something because
exactly.
So,
all right. Well, our tip for the day. Brad. Are you ready for this? Okay. Yes. As I promised yesterday, I was going to tell everybody a little bit about how when we have that feeling of that strikes us and says, you know what, this is something I want to do. We've been inspired and we feel like, this is it. This is my answer. And yet we allow fear to hold us back in many ways. I mean, there's obviously times when we have a physical ailment or the circumstances just aren't right. But even then, if you just keep focused on it, you'll watch things will change. Things will change in your direction. It's just going to take some time. However, when it comes down to the fears, let's think about this for a minute. Fear, where does it come from? When I talk about fear, I'm not talking about the time where they call it fight or flight in the psychology world, where if we're really, really totally scared and we feel like our lives are in danger, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to get up and fight or we're going to flight. We're going to run. Okay. And so those aren't the type of fears that I'm talking about. These are the ones where you're asked to do something or you have a prompting to do something and your brain just all of a sudden freezes and goes, oh, I don't think I can do that. Well, the reality is you can. Now, I call all of those type of fears, I call them baseless. Now, please follow me here. I call them baseless because there really is no reason for them. It's just we have decided or made a decision at some point that, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I'm going to be afraid. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So any one of those types of fears, you can overcome them. Now, you don't have to just, like, if you're learning how to swim, you don't have to just jump into the deep end and learn that way. Although there are some people who like to do it that way. They just like to get in there, get the pain over with, and get it going as quickly as they can. But you don't have to adapt that method. You can do the method where you just put one foot in to the swimming pool and then let it get warmed up a little bit, pull it out for a minute, wait, and then put both feet into the swimming pool. Just get it up to your ankles. Then you can back off. I know this. I go through this every year when I go to Bear Lake. And if you don't know where that is, it's up in northern Utah, southern Idaho, right up in there. Beautiful lake. It's all got a natural spring that feeds it. And it's so fun to get into, but it's always cold, even in August. And I'll get out there and Jay, you're shaking your head. You know what I'm talking about. And you get out there and, oh man, getting the legs in there. It's like, oh, my hardest part is getting my big old belly in there, That's the biggest pain thing. But what I have to do is just count to 3 and dive, and plop down. But that's what I have to do every year. It's like, anyway. But see, I could stop myself and just say, oh, that's just going to be too cold. And I don't want that feeling of having that, it feels like there's knives sticking me when I, when I get down in that water. But again, I would rather have the opportunity to get in there and swim with my kids or with my family and things like that. And so that's what I do. And so I can overcome that fear. But how do I do it? I do it my way. I don't let anybody else intimidate me and say, oh, just jump in right here. Nope. I have my method and I do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do what's comfortable for you. All right. So we've talked about it before, taking sensible risks. When it comes to these fears, again, don't just go out and do something without doing your research first. However, there is always a way that you can overcome those fears. And if it's something that you're just stuck, I'm going to give you my personal email address right now, and you can contact me. It's brad@resiliencetalk.com. That's Brad, B-R-A-D, 4-letter word, it starts with B, at resiliencetalk.com. And I will help you personally overcome that fear. But that's just something I do for people all the time. Because again, that's always been my goal, is to overcome every fear that I have. I've kind of drawn the line at skydiving. I won't do it. I've decided I'm not going to do it. But again, that's okay. So anyway, don't be afraid of those fears, everybody. It's just a part of life. All you're going to do is learn from it. Just like Jay said in our opening quote, you're going to learn from anything that you go for, but there is a way you can do it that's comfortable, if that's a better way to put it.
Yeah. Hey. Well, today is one of America's favorite days, I'm sure. Today is April 15th.
I'm holding my nose.
You're still rifling through your receipts of from 2020. Welcome to America's annual financial headache. It's tax day. And the Internal Revenue Service's patience has just run out. Unless you're due for a hefty refund or working as a highly paid accountant, tax day doesn't usually spark much joy. Yeah. This year's Form 1040 appears shorter, but filing taxes remains way too complicated for most. Yeah. Americans to do alone, it wasn't always this way. It wasn't always the way it is now. If you're still struggling, you can always go look into filing an extension to get some extra time, but you still, if you owe taxes, I'm not an accountant, I'm not your tax guy. Yep. You need to make sure your taxes are done and paid by today, or you need to have an extension and pay.
Yep.
All those kind of things. So bite the bullet. Go talk to an expert if you need to.
Get her done.
Come to me.
Yeah, don't come to me.
But yeah, you got to have your taxes done today.
All right.
Well, that's our show for.
Is that a fun fact?
Yeah, I know that. I don't know how fun that fact was, but it is a fact of life. Right. And so I thought, well, yeah, we need to talk about the good, the bad, and the tax day.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Anyway,
awesome.
We love being able to meet with you every morning. We love to share our tips and knowledge and these fun quotes that I've been able to find. We hope you continue to listen to us. Make sure you tune in, resiliencetalknetwork.com, our Facebook page. Make sure you give us a good like, and we'd love to get as many listeners as we can. Like us on YouTube. Look for us on your favorite podcast outlet. We're on, is it resiliencetalk.podbean.com? Is that our?
I believe it is. I'll have to put that in the show notes. I'll put that in the show notes today.
Okay. That's another way to listen to us. And I'm sure we will soon be out on Spotify and Apple.
Yep. It's happening. So just keep looking for it.
All the places you can get a podcast. We hope to be there soon, so you can go back and listen to us in your car and on your way to work, and share us with the people on the bus you're riding with or whatever. So that's it for today. We love being with you. Send us comment, questions, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it.